Okay. How many times before that have you been in the 4 building though?
Probably like 10.
Come on, son.
Son, probably like 10. So I was ending off the island, son. I was catching mad little cases, son, going there for a week, going in there for 2 months. Yeah, son, because I used to be digging in Midtown, son. I used to be catching mad little cases. I've been on the island like, son, you know how many times I've been on the island, son?
What was your longest stay in the 4 building?
My longest stay in the 4 building was probably like a year, probably like a year.
And that was in 89?
Yeah, I did most of 89 in the 4 building. Most of 89, then I went up north. When I went up north in 89, I stayed for like probably a month and a half. But I came back. I came back in January of 90. January of 90. I came back like the end of January, like January 20 something. I came back. Like I went up November, like November something. I went up in November because I remember I was the 89B number, and I came back down in 90. I came down from the Cat. That's how I remember I was in the Cat. When I came back down from court, I was in Cat Sack. Yeah. And that's when I went to Too Low.
I mean, who was on the island from 89 from New York that you remember in like 89 in the 4 building?
It was there? Right. Let me see. Let me see who was there from the start. Let me see. I had to go by like each like section. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like from the start, you had Lil BB was there. Like I told you, B.O. brother BB. You had dudes from Fort Greene, like Lil N.A. Lil N.A. was there. You had N.A. Rock was there. Lil N.A. Rock. Lil N.A. From N.A. Rock. Lil N.A. from Nostrand Avenue. That they said went crazy, but son used to get in there. Son was there. Who was there? Moo from Fort Greene was there. Was Bumstead there? I think Bumstead was there. Lil Bumstead from Fort Greene was there. Lucky was there. Lucky Ben cousin. Lucky from Astoria. Lucky was there. Cat from Pink House was there. AD from Cypress was there. Pink House and Cypress. AD was there. Who else was there from Brooklyn? Lil Shorty Cypress was there. Big Ron Dude from Queens was there. That's the day he died too. He got killed from 40 Projects. Dudes that was on the island like in Sparford. Back in like he was a dude from Sparford. He was in Sparford with me and Shu and all of that. And then when I came to the island, my first like in the island in 88 and 89 and all of that, son was still there on the island. He was one of them giant big dudes. You know how like when we was in adolescence, we got the dudes that's like big dudes look like they could be adults. He was like even in school they was like the biggest dude in the class, but not that like this a big dude like us but way bigger. Like you know what I'm saying?
So at that time when you was there in 89, like what was the robbery game like? Like niggas was coming through with all type of sheepskin.
Yeah,
what type of shit niggas was coming through with?
Dudes was, you know, back then, dudes was coming through like, you know, on out. Dudes was like, you know, everything was low stuff. You know what I'm saying? Low stuff. Everybody was coming through. You know, Brooklyn dudes was, you know, everybody, you could tell what dude from by the shoes that he wear. Like, you know, Uptown dude's gonna have a pair, you know, Uptowns on. Like, you know, some Air Force Ones. You know, Brooklyn dudes, they're gonna be rocking NBs. You know what I'm saying? They be rocking New Balance, all the different 576s and stuff, whatever color. Because that time they was coming out with the different color 576s. Like, you know, different colors. They first came out with the royal blue or with the all red, or, you know what I'm saying? Dudes kind of, you know, coming through with the different, you know, color leather Reeboks, like look like the suede, like look like kind of like the 5411, but like for the men, like the suede ones, they coming out with different color suede Reeboks at the time. You know, the regular stuff. So, and, you know, but dudes really on the shines. You know, dudes take footwear from you. You know, footwear. You know, your footwear. But you know, we was on shine because we was smoking weed. So, you know, that's how we get the weed. Like, the adults got the weed, so we used to snatch, the change and the challenge with the adults buy the jewelry from us and give us the balloons, give us the weed. You know what I'm saying? So we was on I was on jury, me. I'm a robbery for jury. For really, I just a robbery for anything. I was petty. I did rob dudes for all type of stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, the robbery game was sweet. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a pass. You get a pass to go to the law library or the barber shop or whatever. And we lurked the hallways, Or, the pens. The pens is great. The pens is lovely. The court pens, we from Brooklyn, so we play any pen. We play any pen but Brooklyn pens. Because ain't nobody in Brooklyn pens got nothing. Because everybody is robbers. So, we play that first pen over there when you first come in, like the reception pen that's right there by the office of that. And, because everybody that's coming in from court, like the new admissions going there.
Mm-hmm. And niggas on bail.
Yeah, and bail, and new admissions, and all of that. So we love playing that pen. You know what I'm saying? We play that pen, or we play our favorite pen was the Manhattan pen. The Queens pens is alright, but the Manhattan pens, because everybody in Manhattan is hustlers. You know what I'm saying? So them be the dudes coming in with stuff. Because you could tell basically where a dude come from based on his charge, like back then. You know what I'm saying? Like dudes coming in from like robbery charges, murder. Everybody have murder charges, but most of the murder charges do mostly be from the Bronx or Brooklyn. Like adolescents, they be from Bronx to Brooklyn. Robbery charges, the majority of dudes with robbery charges be from Brooklyn. The majority of dudes with drug charges really be from Manhattan and Queens. You know what I'm saying? And dudes with like burglary charges be from Queens. Back then, dudes, any arson charges.
Do you remember any? Was it anybody from Staten Island on the island with you that you remember?
Let me see. From Staten Island, it is one dude that was from Staten Island that was rapping. I gotta get his name. What's his name? Let me see his name. Son was from Staten Island, and son used to be in the Lower East Side. What's his name, man? His name gonna come to me. And I seen son on the island. I don't know if he got killed. I think I heard something about him, but I seen son on the island when I was there in 2000 when I had the violation. London. His name was London.
I think I heard of that nigga.
Yeah, son get busy. Me and son got into it before. Son fake tried to cut me when they tried to we was in the Bing together. Dudes didn't know who I was because these were some Bing monsters, and I just came down. This is when I came down from up north. You know what I'm saying? And these dudes was already in the Bing monsters, and I was in there for cutting something, and son of them was in there, and I went to rec. This is how we used to get to the Bing pens. Like when we go to rec, we cut somebody in the yard so they could send us, so they could bring the alarm and take us to the pens, and we be in that pen right there, the Bing pen right over there by medical. When you come out, when you coming out the receiving room, and you got where the visitors at. That pen right there.
Mm-hmm.
That pen. That's
you talking about that? You talking about the Y Me pen that's right by the visiting room?
Yeah, the Y Me pen right by the visiting room. The one that's right by the visiting room. You could go medical. You can see it right there in the hallway.
Yeah, that's the cell they put you in when you cut somebody.
Yeah, when you come in here, they put you in there. Like when we wild out in the shoe, that's where they bring us to. They bring us there, or they bring us to the 7 and 8 pen. You know what I'm saying? But that's where they usually bring us to. You know what I'm saying? Because they be having court in the morning, and we do this when we go to rec in the morning. You know what I'm saying? To rec. I had just got to the shoe. This is my first time going to rec. I had just got to the shoe, and when I went in the yard, London tried to grab me, and the Jamaican dude named Scar, they used to call him Jamaican Scar, try to act like he tried to cut me. And I pushed him and swung on him, and then dudes grabbed everybody, and the police came, and we just all slid back up. I'm like, I'm seeing them. Then when I got back up, and all of them was all in the shoe at the time. Everybody was in there. They were like, "What happened? What happened?" They was like, "What happened?" Everybody knew something happened. I was like, "Yo, some clowns." They like, "Who?" They was like, "What?" They like, "Nah, that ain't happened." So we all going out there tomorrow. They're like, "They try to cut you." I'm like, "Yeah, they're like, we going out there tomorrow."
You talking about this is Bing Rec?
The thing like we didn't have no cases, we just had the yard, you know what I'm saying? And but in the other buildings, like in the adult buildings and stuff like that, in the yard, you go in cages.
So you said
you ain't going no cages when you go to Bing Rack.
You said you told niggas that the kid London tried to cut you and y'all was going.
London tried to hold me. I told him Scar tried to cut me, but Scar never had no razor in his hand. Scar fake. When he put it, they didn't really know who I was. They wasn't sure. And when the whole move went down, they try to fake a move. I be hating when dudes fake it. Son didn't even have no razor in his hand. Son, if he did, he dropped it. But when Son touched me, cause Son did touch me on my face, Son. But now look, Son. If he had it, it didn't even cut me, Son. But Son, cause I think Son was faking a move, Son. I ready to beat Son up, Son. You hear me? I try to beat him up. You feel me? And they came and grabbed me. You know what I'm saying? The police, again, it was crazy, Son. But when I went back up to the thing, I told everybody what happened. Everybody's like, yo, we going out there in the morning. So we all went out there in the morning, London, all of us. And Son and them found out, like, dudes like, yo, Son, that's people, Son. You already know what it is. So I'm like, yo, Son, I ain't trying to get nothing. Don't you know? Everybody apologized and all of that stuff. And they like, because ain't nothing happened. They be like, yo, you know, dude playing politics. Like, yo, ain't nothing happened. Nobody get cut. Yo, Son, you ain't get cut. Yo, Son is, they like, Son is people. Son of them just didn't know who he was. London was like, yo, if you want to, you can. Let me tell you what Son said. Son, I hope Son is I hope somebody listens. I swear, Son told me on some little kid stuff, Son. Son was like, yo, Son, if you want to, Son, you can steal me. Told me I could punch him in the face if I want to. But Son was official though. But Son, it's a lot of dudes that was official that became official later on that I met them on the interest. Because a lot of dudes when they first come to the island, they don't really be nobody. You know what I'm saying? But they learn the game, they learn, and you know, sometimes it opens up and builds something in them, and whoever they are basically come out. And then they come out, and next thing you know, the dude, he was there, he probably got robbed back when he was on the island, but now Son running around, you know, blazing stuff and got a little name for himself. And probably wasn't nobody in the street or wasn't nobody when he first got there, but he learned the ropes. You feel me? Just like the dude.
And that's what a lot of people.
Son was a cold punk on the island before when he was an adolescent. Then he was a punk in the street. I slapped the taste out of his mouth. Then when I came to the island, Son had the jack in a 4 building amongst goals. You feel what I'm saying? So,
yeah, that's what some people really love about Rikers Island, though, man. Like it's unpredictable who's gonna come into power in that motherfucker.
You never know. Son, I be coming to the island, Son. I used to be acting like I used to ask people. I'd be like, yo, man, like I run into a dude, and I'd be like, because I really don't try to embrace a dude till I feel what he's doing, Son. Because I'm not gonna embrace no lame, Son. Because I don't know who you are on the island. I only know who you are in the street. You feel what I'm saying? The island is a whole different animal. Just because this dude in the street don't mean you that same dude on the island, Son. I already know. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see a dude, I be trying to feel him out to see, like, especially if you from the hood, you know what I'm saying? Especially from my block or something, man, let me see what, Son, what you doing? Son, you on the phone, Son? You using that phone down there? First thing I ask the dude, Son, I be like, yo, Son, what's up? You using the phone in that unit, Son? Like, this one of my brothers. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking though. I'm asking him in front of his whole unit. I see them, they going to trial, Son. I'm probably in the hallway with a barber pass, Son. They going to trial. I go to him while he with his unit. I say, yo, Son, what up? I see you. I'm like, what's up? You touching that jack? What's up? You touching that jack in there? Right in front of everybody in his house. So they want to, you feel what I'm saying? Put him right on the spot. You feel me? Just like that. So you touching that jack? I see you with your house. I see your unit. What's up? You touching that jack up in there?
Yeah.
Put it right on the spot. You know, you ask me, I'm like, you already know it, Son. You already know. Like, come on. What's understood don't need to be explained. I'm touching it. Ask these chumps. Who touching it?
Yo, but like, all right, so how did who was the first motherfucker that, if there was a motherfucker, who was the first person that taught you about the Rikers Island, the C-74 phone culture? Cause like, was it really that you wanted to get on the jack, or was it that you needed to run that jack to let niggas know who you was?
Nah, see, like with the phone culture thing, it's like me, Son, like, Son, it's like I'm an alpha. So it's like whatever you gotta, like whatever position that the alpha's supposed to play, I'm gonna try to assume the position. You know what I'm saying? So we in the position, we in the island, and we in the unit, and the alpha is the dude that got the phone and got the most time on the phone. You feel what I'm saying? me being who I am, I'm going to try to make an attempt to assume the position, because sooner or later, it's really not an attempt being made, but just natural, basically on who I am. I'm going to assume the position sooner or later. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's my birthright, so I'm going to assume that position. So when I go into a unit, it's like the phone coach is, like I said, is the man who got the jack. And me, I'm a dude that want that power. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always wanted. So it's like, I gotta be the person in control. I gotta be the alpha, bro. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be somewhere, I gotta be in control some type of way. You feel me? And that's what it was with me. And so with the phone culture, it came natural to me when I'm coming into a unit. And like, yo, son, I'm letting people know, like, yo, strength, recognize strength. If I see some strong dudes, some real dudes that got the jack, I'm going to go to them and I'm going to give them my spiel. Like, yo, son, if we got to go gun to gun, we got to go. But, son, I need to touch that jack. Y'all figure it out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't coming in here trying to cause no problems. I'm just letting you know I'm a man. And like, yo, son, if y'all men and y'all recognize, I know y'all recognize strength when I see it, man. If y'all on some family time, then, y'all on some family time, make sure y'all know I'm family. This is what it is. But if y'all not, and everybody just on man for everybody, man for themselves, and everybody just got time, then what's up? Then we can rock. What's up? What's going on? Let's rock. You know what I'm saying? And dudes be like, yo, son, nah, son, ain't even like that, son. Let me tell you, son, you already know how it go. Dudes be trying to compromise and all of that. And like, yo, son, we gonna give you a half then and a half at this
So
time.
you said what house you said you was in mostly in '89? You said one lower. Oh no, hold on. Oh yeah, you already told about when y'all went out to the yard and the bank. So you said that was the house you had the jack in. You said it was one lower at the time.
I had the house. I had the jack in one lower and two lower. Let me see. Whatever house I was in '89, I was in one lower and two lower. The Bing mostly. One lower, two lower in the Bing.
And who else had jacks in the Ford building at that time? Who was running houses and had the jack?
Shu was over in what's his name? He was, because when I came down in '90, Shu was in the Ford building. He was like in Mod 9 or Mod 8. One of those, because all those things was always the same to me. Like Mod 8, Mod 9. I couldn't tell. I knew one of them used to be like a Queen's house. I think Mod 7 at one time was like the MO house. It was two houses, like one side was Queens and one side was whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I know Shu had one of them phones over there in either Mod 9 or Mod 8, because I seen Son, because Son had came through him, Tree, and who was it? It was him, Tree, and somebody else caught a case. They caught a case about some diamonds or something. I'm trying to remember who it was, but it was him. It was probably him, Tree and Half. I can't remember, but they all three had came through, and dudes had went home. But I think 6 months later, they had went home from, I think, and then 6 months later, Shu got indicted. You know how they send you home, and then they, like, you don't get indicted when you first go to criminal court, and so they send you home until you got 6 months to get indicted, but they make it into a misdemeanor. And then so they came back 6 months later, and they had indicted him on a joint or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And Son was there, and I seen Son. He was there. He had the phone over there. Somebody had the phone in Bar 9 too. What his name is? Son from the Bronx. Because I was in Anna-Messeg a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? I was in Anna-Messeg, so I used to be there. Like, I used to get kicked out of population. So I used to be in Anna-Messeg, and dudes, like, it's pre-big. So when dudes used to catch shots, they used to have to come down to either one lower or two lower. Both of them was Anna-Messeg, and I was in both of them. So dudes would have to come to me, got Tony, because on one side was Anna-Messeg and the other side was population. But the thing about it, all of us, we all ate inside the unit. They didn't let us go. They wouldn't let us go to, because all of this was all of the dudes that they didn't want a population that had influence, dudes that, you know, was supposed to be somebody or whatever in adolescence. They had us all trapped down there. You know what I'm saying? And wouldn't let us go to the child hall. And we was on the adult side, because we was over there in one lower. You know what I'm saying? So we was on the adult side. So we used to eat in the unit. And so when dudes do something and you catch a shot, they used to send a ticket. They used to send you to Anna-Messeg. So you down there and Anna-Messeg, that's administrative segregation. right? They used to send dudes down there, and they be there waiting to see what's gonna happen at the Bing hearing. You know what I'm saying? And then once they have whatever happened at the Bing hearing, they be there basically pre-Bing, waiting to go to the Bing. You know what I'm saying? So when dudes come down there, it be dudes, a lot of dudes that be like, they might have cut somebody, robbed somebody, cut somebody, and these be dudes that's supposed to be somebody that come there because they done cut somebody or did something. So when these dudes come down there, and you already know that phone situation, you already know I got the jack, you know what I'm saying? So when you come down there, and I used to be letting dudes know, like, yo, bro, yo, son, I had to tell them, son, ain't nothing happening, bro. They be like, yo, I'm like, yo, I let them know as soon as they get there, let me holler at you, son. But listen, that phone situation, they're like, nah, son, I'm like, no, son, I'm letting you know, son, that phone situation, bro. Because they quickly tell me, like, yo, son, I'm not here, I'm just here, son, I'm not here for no, you know what I mean, I'm here, I got a ticket, I'm waiting to see what they gonna do, I'm going to the bank. I understand all of that, but that phone situation, son, ain't nothing happening. You know what I'm saying, son? Ain't nothing happening. It was me. I had, like, even when I was two, I had no drama down there, no Brave Dave from the Bronx dudes that was down there back there, and like from like 88 to like 92, they should all know, they know son from the Bronx, son getting in. From the age to him getting in too. I had son down there. Had the little man, what's his name, man? What's shorty little name, man? He was from the son was from what's the name? He was from I think he's from like Evansville or something. No dude, because I know he was beefing with one of them dudes from the Bronx. They had some super beef. They always be fighting in the law library and all of that, man. But son, yeah, but a lot of dudes that came down there, son. Dudes was coming down there, son.
So nobody never came down there trying to just straight dead the jack?
Man, it's not, son. Son, don't disrespect me like that, son.
I'm saying a nigga could have came down there and tried.
Son, listen, son. This is something for real, son. Right, son? And son, if I walk into the room and I see you, son, I'ma feel your energy, son. Remember they say strength recognize strength, son? That's some real stuff, son. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I got a lot of phones, son. Going in units and I see who the strong is, and I can feel the energy. And I be like, yo, I already know I'm more manly than them, son, because you gotta remember, son, dudes like us, we're the epitome of masculinity. You feel what I'm saying? It's like real pure alpha males. And so when we go into certain like circles of men, the men recognize the hierarchy. And they be like, yo, this is the king. Yeah, we all gotta submit. You feel what I'm saying, son? So it's like I take different type of animals, son. It's like if I go in the room, son, I don't care if it's dude that ate the body, Jeffrey Dahmer, I don't care Bin Laden, I don't care Muhammad Ali, I don't care, it's the men of the men who represent manhood to the people who they visualize as a man. If I go in the room with them, son, I'm gonna look them in their eye, they gonna know, like, yo, that dude right there is a man, and if I got a problem with him, I need to be getting at him, because son gonna get at me. You feel me, son? Everybody, anywhere I go, the person in the room gonna know that I'm a man. They gonna know that I'm gonna be dealt with on your level. I don't care how many people you ate, how many people you shot or killed, or I don't care, you know what I'm saying, like Styles said, I don't care who you shot, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't care whoever you shot, and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Like, son, I don't care, son, who you are. You're gonna recognize me as a man when I step in the room. I'm just as man as you, or more manly, bro. You ain't gonna be more man than me, but I'll be just as man as you, or more manly than you, bro. And you're gonna recognize that. And that's how I approach every room that I go in, son. This is why I say nothing. You know?
This is when you was an adolescent, or you was on the adult side of the football?
I was an animal lesson. I was an adolescent.